My name is Howard Hanson. Federal Indian policy is a dismal failure. Since the rich elite created the Indian Reorganization Act in the 1930s to enslave our Native American citizens, they have exploited them to take control of over 70% of our nation's valuable natural resources. This clever scheme oppresses the majority, who get stuck with massive social costs and budget deficits, while the largest shareholders and their corporations get ever richer. Meanwhile, our Native American citizens are classified incompetent and live in a communistic welfare system that is dictatorial, tyrannical, breeds hopelessness, alcoholism, drug abuse, sexual abuse, and violence. Youth suicides are up to 12 times the national average. Our executive, congressional, and judiciary branches of government are all violating their oaths of office to protect the rights, health, welfare, and happiness of us citizens by supporting unconstitutional, racist laws that immorally transfer wealth from the majority to those that cheat and bribe others to gain power over our lands and wealth. In 1980, we got involved in public service to save our valuable sports fishing tourism industry here in Minnesota. In 1983, we helped buy out the quotas of 20 white gill netters on Lake of the Woods and Rainy Lake because Mother Nature could not keep up to the demand of both user groups. The importation of fish has always been our nation's #2 monthly trade deficit behind oil. Tourism brings jobs to the entire community, while gill netting trucks the wealth out of town to the corporations and costs local jobs. In 1988, we succeeded in having the state of Minnesota create an aquaculture division in its Department of Agriculture. We thought it would be win-win if corporations would raise their own fish, creating a new industry and new jobs. But in 1990, the Mille Lacs Band of Chippewa on Lake Mille Lacs filed a treaty lawsuit to commercially gill net Mille Lacs Lake and others in the huge 1837 treaty ceded territory. The band's members did not get to vote. The state said it would lose if it went to court, so they made a secretly negotiated settlement for legislative approval. The state had also admitted that they would not protect the interests of the private landowners and taxpayers in the case. With the help of former Vikings coach Bud Grant, we organized support from the outdoor conservation community and stopped the agreement at the legislature. We then intervened private landowners as full parties to the case, which we believed we would win using the payment the Mille Lacs Band had taken from the Indian Claims Commission. Under the ICC, once money was paid, the band had no more claims against the United States or its citizens. We worked for 10 years raising $1.5 million, selling $5 raffle tickets to cover the appeals and legal fees up to the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court took the case, but later we heard they were only looking at the state's argument. As the state said they would do, they lost the case by not using the Indian Claims Commission payment. Other states had used the Indian Claims Commission and won. In a 5-4 decision, Justice Sandra Day O'Connor overturned 3 historical precedents and the only presidential order in our nation's history. The landowner's lawyer gave a great 10-minute oral argument of the Indian Claims Commission payment, ending any and all claims the band might have against the United States. The landowner defense was not mentioned in the majority opinion, but Chief Justice Rehnquist cited legerdemain in a scathing dissent, as did Justice Clarence Thomas. The landowners were not heard. As a result of the decision, 40 tourism destinations have gone broke around the shores of Lake Mille Lacs, and the county has had the highest unemployment rates during the recent recession, up to 17%. The American Indian movement's political rhetoric also teaches hate to the Native American children. 8 young band members recently did a hate crime trashing of a Mille Lacs resort. They said they did it to have some fun. Our branches of government are making drastic, immoral, and unconstitutional decisions for personal enhancement of wealth while causing great economic harm and social conflict to us citizens.